Cuckoo, my loves from my other channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Isa2, and I make videos on motherhood, lifestyle, and culture. And I am starting a new YouTube channel coming from another YouTube channel that I had that I am putting a pause on for the moment. If you want to know why, you can check out that YouTube channel. That last video that I posted will give an explanation of how we got to where we are today. Because you might be like, wait, when did we start doing this? Well, we have some things that are already in play, such as the fishbowl, which I'm going to be picking a topic of the day from. So the OGs know what I'm talking about. If you are new here, welcome. I'm just going to give a little bit more information about who I am for those of you who are new and don't know who I am. Like I said, my name is Isa2. I am from Senegal, West Africa. I moved to the States over 20 years ago. So I grew up here. I live in Atlanta, Georgia with my husband and my daughter. So the picture that you see here, that's my daughter. She's turning 2 in December. I work in the tech industry. I work from home. And yeah, I am just on this path, this journey of self-discovery, self-growth, and trying to learn as much about the world as I can and connect with as many people as I can. So hopefully this channel is a good avenue to do that. And with that, let's get into today's topic. Let me shake this up. So the topic of the day is being a Black woman in corporate America. That's a loaded one. I might have to do a 2-part series on this or a multi-part series. So let me give some background on my experience being a Black woman in America. I went to Miami University in Oxford, Ohio for school, and I studied information systems and international studies there. When I graduated, before I graduated, I had an internship with General Electric, GE, and I came back after my senior year. So after I graduated, I came back into their IT leadership program, which was 2 years. I did that and did rotations across different GE businesses. And after that, I joined their corporate audit staff. So that was, it no longer exists today, but that was their internal audit function. And I did that for another 2 years. And then I rolled off into a big girl job, like my first big girl job that wasn't a rotational program. And then I came to my current company, which I won't name. But yeah, I graduated in 2015. We're in 2024, so 9 years. Next year is going to be the 10-year anniversary of me graduating college. Oh my God, I feel so old. Oh gosh. Okay. So that's the context of like what experience I have in corporate America. So about 10 years experience, and being a Black woman in corporate America, I truly have been like, especially GE, that was like the good old boys club company. Like we had, this is going to sound so bad when I say it, but we had, your whams, your white American males. Like the GE leadership was full of whams. The programs that I was a part of, full of whams. And I have nothing against whams. Trust me, I really don't. I've had an amazing experience being a Black woman in corporate America. I'll be honest. I know there are videos out there that talk about some challenges and some struggles, which I've had. It hasn't been perfect. But if I had to give it a score out of 10, I would say my experience has truly, truly, truly been like 7 or 8 out of 10. And I must say the leadership programs that I've been a part of have contributed to that positive experience. We used to travel all over the world, especially the last program that I was a part of, corporate audit staff, CAS. I mean, over 200 people from all over the world. And that's like my vibe. I love people. I love connecting with people. I love learning about different cultures, different languages, and really getting like a breadth of experiences that widens your perspective on the world. I love that. I studied international studies in school, like I mentioned. So I love the world. I love the people of the world. Like that was my jam. And that contributed to the positive experience that I had because we were all young, fresh out of school, and just navigating the corporate life together. So it didn't really matter if you were Black, white, all this stuff. And of course, we had employee resource groups as well, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later if I remember, because I am doing this top of my head. But that helps as well when it comes to finding a community within the organization that you're in, within the company that you're in. That said, being a Black woman in corporate America, there's so many different facets. So I'm going to talk about it in like, I want to say 3 ways. Okay. So the first is appearance. The fact that you're black is going to be like a thing. Like it stands out. I remember when I first graduated school and I was in the IT leadership program working in Cincinnati, and I would get my hair done every couple of weeks. And that was always a topic of conversation in the office. Like, yo, you changed your hair. Oh, you got a new haircut. Oh, how did your hair grow so fast? Or did you cut your hair? Like if I got like a 27 piece at the time they were in, but if I got like a 27 piece, they were like, did you cut your hair? And it's like, oh, no, 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 girl, I didn't cut my hair. Like it was a whole thing. So just appearance wise, you coming into the office being a black person, being a black woman is going to, like I said, be a thing. And it doesn't have to be a good or a bad thing. It just is what it is. So you have to be cognizant of the fact that sometimes people are going to be saying some things to you that may seem like a microaggression, or it may be like, do you just not know, or are you being funny? And I want to talk about this point from a perspective of, you don't want to go through life, whether you're a black woman in corporate America or anywhere else, you don't want to go through life assuming the worst of people. So that was just my thing. I always just assume the best of people, like maybe they just don't know. And using moments as teachable moments, but also realizing that it's not my responsibility to be a champion for black women in corporate America. It would be very egotistical of me to think that I had to set the standard for, being a black woman, or if I was the only black woman, to be like, okay, I have to act a certain way so they don't think black women are this, or act a certain way so they don't think black women are that. I think that's a heavy burden and a load to carry that I never put on myself. Like I just try to be me. And I also just, like, I'm also the kind of person where if I see one person from a certain group do something, I don't associate the entire group with that. I kind of just, I just don't do that. So I never kind of like did the whole, well, I'm the only black woman in the office, so I have to represent, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. Like, no, I did not do that. So I guess that's the first thing that I'll talk about when it comes to, like, of course, you have to be aware that you are a black person in corporate America, but I tried not to harp too much on it. And maybe it's because I have had good experiences that I can't speak too much to some of the negative things. But speaking of negative things, there are challenges, there are some obstacles that you have to go through. So I'm going to talk about that next. So one of the challenges that I have personally faced, I won't speak, like I said, on behalf of all black women in America, in corporate America. One of the challenges that I face is, it's cultural, I want to say. So I don't necessarily think it's just being black. I think it's being Senegalese specifically. So I'll give an example. When I joined my current company, the first team that I was on, I had to do like an introduction, like a 1-pager about who I am and some things that I wanted my coworkers to know about me. And on my 1-pager, I talked about some cultural things that will probably show up in how I showed up to work. Okay, so when we talk about bringing your authentic self to work, you're bringing all of who you are to work, whether you like it or not, subconsciously or consciously. And so on this 1-pager, I was like, well, I'm Senegalese and I'm not always going to know when I need to be off. They were like, what? And I was like, yes, because sometimes in my culture, you don't find out someone is getting married until like a week before or a month before, or, you don't find out that someone just had a baby and you need to go to the baby shower and it's going to be during the workday and all these things. And so I just had to explain to them to help them understand some of the things that I was dealing with in my personal life so that I could bring my authentic self to work without feeling bad. And I think that speaks to the first point that I made about having a positive experience. I always try to set the expectation that this is who I am, this is how my life goes typically outside of work, and that might manifest itself in the work that I do as well, and or how I show up to work. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense. Some of the negative things that we experience in life can be misunderstandings. You might be in a work environment where you feel like people are not understanding you, or you're not being treated fairly, and it could just be a misunderstanding. I'm not discounting anybody's bad experiences. There are people who are discriminatory in the workplace, especially corporate America. I know that those things exist, but for me personally, when I speak about my experience, I just always try to, I'm also a non-confrontational person. So I always try to prevent those situations from happening by over communicating, letting you know that this is who I am. I'm bringing my authentic self to work. If I tell you that I need to be off Thursday next week, I don't want to hear any questions about why. I'm still going to get my work done, but I always just try to have this attitude of like, okay, this is what it is. If what you're perceiving from me or what you're receiving from me is not what I think I'm giving you, if there's any kind of disconnect, let's talk about it and let's try to have a positive experience. But I don't try to harp on the fact that I am a black woman in corporate America, but I am a black woman in corporate America. So it will come up every now and then. Other than those two things, I don't think that it really shows up as much. Let me not say that. Let me ask you guys, How have your experiences been if you are a Black person in corporate America? Do you feel like your experience is tainted? Do you feel like it's fair? Do you feel like there's prejudice, there's discrimination? I personally haven't had that experience, so I don't want to go too deep into it. And when I wrote this topic down to put inside of here, I truly did want to share the good experience that I had. Not to discount the negative experiences of other people, but I truly do like being in corporate America. It has its ups and downs. I don't like how rigid it is sometimes. Oh, ERGs. I was going to talk about ERGs. I'm all over the place. If you are a Black woman in corporate America, a Black person in corporate America, any denomination of person in corporate America, find your ERG, your employee resource group. Is really going to help you find your community, find your people beyond the actual work that you have to do, the commitments and the goals and the priorities that you have in your day-to-day job. It's going to help you find an outlet of people who are like-minded or have similar life experiences to you that you can connect with and feel like, okay, I have a community of people that I can go to when things are really stressful at work, or they're putting on these events and I can go and have an outlet and connect with other people. So there's a lot that you can get out of and put into an employee resource group. And if it doesn't exist, check out your HR department and see if you can start one. That's a lot of work. Hopefully it already exists, but it is a great resource to tap into when you are in a place where you're expected to act a certain way. You're expected to put on a costume to come to work, but I'm not a big fan of that. I do believe that you should be yourself at work. There's code switching, there's who you are at work and who you are at home, but I think that's just a natural thing of life. I don't think it's necessarily a race thing, and this is controversial. People might disagree. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think, but I think that we all act differently in different environments. The way that I am at the gym is different than how I am at home, is different than how I am at work. I don't necessarily think it's purely a race thing. I don't think it's purely a cultural thing. I think everybody knows that when you're at work, you just have a certain decorum, you have a certain attitude, and everybody knows that when you're hanging out with your friends, you're going to be different than when you're hanging out with your family. Like, there are very few people in the world who act the exact same everywhere they go, and I think that's to be expected. So I definitely don't buy into the whole idea that I have to change exactly who I am to bring my authentic self to work. I think there are different versions of who I am, and that's what I try to bring to work as a Black woman in corporate America. And I hope that made sense. But I would love to hear from you guys what you think. What's your experience with corporate America, if any at all? Are there any stereotypes about corporate America that you're curious about? I'm more than happy to answer based on my 10 years experience. Hopefully you guys found this video interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you like what you heard here, if you like the kind of content that I'm putting out, even though this is the first one that you're seeing on this channel at least, I have other videos on my other channel if you want to check that out. I'll link it down below. But if you liked what you heard here today, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and tell me what you guys think. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye.